I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, October the 18th, and we might as well go ahead and start preparing for it right now. We got cattle on feed report coming up the end of the week, and you know how scary that can be when you've been rolling along here pretty good with some nice markets, but you know, the board may be preparing itself already a little bit, and it's too bad that we have to worry about either a bullish or a bearish cattle on feed report. If we didn't have this publishing of these estimates, we wouldn't have to worry about it. It would just be information that come out, and we could absorb it later and go on. But everybody's gotten used to it's kind of like betting the line on football games. You know, otherwise we just have the football games, people would cheer for their side, and it wouldn't be that big a deal. But whenever you've got these estimates that are published and coming out, and then people go to betting on which way they think it's going to be, one way or the other, on the board and what have you, then it can really be a scary deal when it comes out. But I think we should go ahead and prepare for a big placement number. So just go ahead, and we need to get that figured in. Let everybody know about it. I think we're going to have a really big placement number. You know, really the Saturday morning or Friday afternoon, it's not going to be any different than it was before that report come out. Everything still like it is right now, but just go ahead and get in your mind a big placement number, and then we'll just go from there. Look at the board on Tuesday. December live cattle down 85 cents on Tuesday to end the day at 115.97. October spot live contract down 55 cents at 111.17. I think maybe a steady go would be sufficient. It looked like earlier that we were going to maybe gain some ground, but the board started out here on kind of the wrong foot, and actually getting in there about steady would be flush with the basis for a change, so that would be kind of a nice change for your guys, your hedged feeders that are selling cattle. November feeder cattle down $2.12 on Tuesday to end the day at 152.42. Of course, we haven't had any fat cattle trade at all. Fed Cattle Exchange got a little over 900 head, so even if they have much trade, it's not really going to impact the way things go on a direct basis for the rest of the week with no more cattle than that. But talk about this cattle on feed report again. I always give the analysts a hard time about missing these placement numbers. I hope some of them have started to maybe pay attention. They just miss it a long ways. They don't have a very good model. They miss it a long ways, then they overcorrect the next month, and they just keep flip-flopping back and forth. And I really hate to get out on a limb here myself, but I'm not going to hide behind anything. I'm going to tell you about what I think it's going to be. If you look at your September nationwide auction receipts through the month of September, and coming out in that really 5 weeks there, was roughly up 15%, a little over 15%. I think we need to be adjusting that up a little bit because we got a bigger calf crop. But I think the number is going to come out to be about 118%. I haven't even seen what the Urner Barry analysts have estimated yet. I don't know where it'll be. It'll probably be somewhere from 82 to 135. But I'm going to guess 118%. I think it should be somewhere in there pretty tight. Sounds like a giant number, but we've noticed that we're several areas that were selling cattle earlier this year, and that's just what it's going to be. I believe it's going to be close to that. So don't let that number scare you. Like I said, the complexion of the markets, the industry, our supplies aren't going to be any different after 3 o'clock on Friday than they are right now. But that's just kind of what we need to get in our head and not be scared of it if it does come out to be like that. Feeder cattle markets on Tuesday, your real-time index late in the day was down 47 cents at 153.55 based on the 800-pound steer. Look at some markets on Tuesday. Philip had another big sale up there in South Dakota. You look at the report there, and look how many 5-weight steer calves they had. 3,130 head of 5-weight steer calves, averaging 557 with a weighted average of 176.42. Look at OKC West in El Reno, Oklahoma. about 3,500 head. You're starting to see them get bigger runs of calves now too. They were selling 2,000, 2,500, and now they're getting bigger runs in there. It'll be just a few more weeks, and the Tuesday sale will be bigger than the Wednesday sale if it's not already this week. But a lot more calves than they are yearlings or big feeders out there. But the calves in OKC West sold $3 to $8 lower, and I think it has a lot to do with the changing of the weather. In the southern plains down here, it's just normal just about every day, every 24 hours, to have a 35 to 40 degree swing, and it's just hard on stuff. And so it's, and also starting to look at the way things are going this week. I think the board and some of these markets are preparing for kind of a bearish cattle and feed report, but I don't know why it should be one way or the other. We haven't even seen what the estimates are yet. But also, we're getting down in here into October, and I've told you guys, and I've been saying that you don't get out of October without having at least 1 week in there where supplies outweigh demand. There's just not enough holes to stick all these calves. I know we've got good demand at every level, but a lot of these calves have got to go into some kind of a growing yard starter facility there, and you just got so many droves of calves moving that were sold on a private treaty or on a video back in the summertime or even here recently, but they're all shipping right now. Every sale barn worth its salt is having big runs of calves right now, and there's too many of them, and supply and demand, and you're going to have 1 week. And I don't know really if this week's going to be the sick week. If we have a bearish cattle on feed, it could be next week that's the sick week. But there's a week in October where the market's pretty sick on calves. West Plains, Missouri, Ozarks Regional Stockyard broadcasted on DV Auction this week. 3,400 head there. Called the market on calves steady to $3 lower. Except for some bigger heifer calves from 4.5 to 600 pounds. And Dan Hill, the market reporter there, called those $2 to $5 higher. Not a whole lot of yearlings to really get a good test on, but I tell you what, every Tuesday now at 8 o'clock in the morning, you can start watching Ozarks Regional Stockyard there, and also getting a lot of good market information coming into Cattle Market Central that we're going to be putting out here on this report. But the individual quote on Tuesday in Kingsville Livestock Auction, Kingsville, Missouri, 3:45 in the afternoon, had 62 head of 832 pound steers, bring 166 1/4. That's your feeder flash for Wednesday.